you never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy.
Welcome back to Common Folk. It's time for part 2 with Jay Miralles. If you listened last week, you're probably on the edge of your seat, wanting to see what else we get into. Jay's a super interesting dude. If you didn't listen last week, I definitely suggest you go back and check that one out first. We've got a great intro to Jay and the 50 Mile March. We get into kind of some personal things with Jay, some upbringing, couple of sensitive topics, but he's clearly a passionate dude, and that really comes across. So this week, we get a little bit more into the 50 Mile March itself, kind of some of the specifics, how it came about, how it works, what to expect, what Morgan went through this past year, those kinds of things, and then plans for the future, what this organization's working towards. So really hope you enjoy this one. We had so much fun with Jay. The reviews that we've been receiving so far from the first episode are awesome, so we're excited about that folks are digging it. So check it out if you haven't. If you have, here comes episode number 2. Appreciate y'all listening. All right, we took a quick break. During that break, I walked outside. I told you my mom lives next door, so we went over there.
Yes.
Had to let the dogs out.
Yeah.
And I'm walking, I see your car.
Let the dogs out. Sorry, I just had to.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I see your car in the driveway, and I gotta ask you about the license plate. I took a picture of it.
Oh, we're talking about pictures.
Yes. Okay, so it's a military license plate, but both of our cars have military license plates. It's short for 2 things. So it was going to be my wife's car. So realtor is what it's supposed to be.
Realtor, got you. Okay.
But it's also
that's not how I interpreted it.
Relator.
That's exactly how I interpreted it.
I'm a relator when it comes to people
time.
like, if I can't relate to you, man, the attractiveness is like,
it's gone.
why are we here? Mm-hmm. But we're people pleasers. I'm a people pleaser. I'm a recovering people pleaser, right? I just love to please people.
Like a recovering Catholic.
Exactly. Yeah, I just don't have to kneel anymore. But we I don't know. I want to relate to you. I want it to be relatable. And if it's not, I can't give it my energy. It sucks the energy from me. So that's where relator comes from.
For folks who can't see it, the license plate is RL, the number 8R.
Yes.
And that's 100%. After talking to you, when I read it, I was like, relator. Dude's got it on his license plate.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But I want to relate to people. And I don't care if you're, a doctorate of philosophy or you don't know what a 9th grade reading level is. I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, I don't really care about statuses. I used to get caught up in that, right? I used to get caught up, that's the Backstreet Boys or that's Britney Spears, like we were talking before. But I really don't care because, I've noticed this when I meet famous people now or people who are icons. If you talk to them regular, it's such a refreshing feeling. Yeah, because it's oh my God, you're David Goggins. I just can't even stand myself right now. Like he doesn't want to hear that. He wants to hear, David, tell me something good, or you know what I mean? Like, Leah Johnson just met her. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, so there's this. Okay, I'm all over the place. There's this friend of ours, Leah Johnson, and she has been walking 10 miles a day, and she's almost at 100 days. That's 1,000 miles. Okay, she's 9 days away from that. So we're gonna walk next week Sunday or this week Sunday, whenever it is. But here is her picture, right here. She met David Goggins in California, maybe, or Colorado. Hold on. There she is, right there. She's about to hit 1,000 miles in 100 days. So she's walking 10 miles a day.
Dang.
There she is, right there. There's David Goggins. He was not supposed to sign any books, but look at her book. Has bookmarks, just like how people do Bibles and stuff like that. She earmarked that whole book, put notes and everything. He's like, damn, I got to sign that book.
Yeah, she's into it.
She is super into it. Like, it's changed my life just watching somebody like that. So anyway. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man. Talk
Super
about
cool.
changing lives.
Super cool. So before we went to the break, we wanted to talk a little bit more about the 50 Mile March in particular.
Yes.
So let's give folks, we've been talking about it for the last hour and 15 minutes in one way or another.
Yes.
But let's give them the full details.
Okay.
So I'll let you go where you want with it, but what we just experienced was the third year, correct?
Yes.
Fifth.
Fifth.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
fifth year.
Yeah, fifth year.
Fifth
Yes,
year.
sir. Yes, sir.
It has gotten to the point where you guys allowed roughly 150 participants.
Yes.
And so this was our first experience.
Yes.
So I want you to talk about the beginning and what it's come to and what this whole thing is about and exactly what it is.
Yes. So again, in the beginning, we explained why the first time.
Yeah.
And then the second time, so what the 50-mile march is, it's two parts, right? It's the physical march itself. So that's just the march. Like, hey, a bunch of crazy people are walking 50 miles and they're raising $2,500 each. And there's a vetting system and there's stops and there's 22-hour journey, 120,000 steps. There's road guards. There's, military, there's police, whatever, escort, all those things. And it's down Highway 6 through Gretna, through Papillion, through La Vista, and we end at the Nebraska Brewing Company, which I love.
And real quick, because we have a lot of folks who listen to the podcast who are not from anywhere around here.
Okay, yes.
So
okay.
You start at Nebraska's capital.
Yes, the capital. Yep, in Lincoln.
Lincoln, Nebraska.
The state capital, yes, sir.
And then it's 50 miles into the town of La Vista, essentially.
Correct. Correct. From Lincoln, yep, on
which
Highway
is kind
6.
Kind of an Omaha suburb.
Yes, and it's exactly that. So from college town to Omaha suburb, right?
Yep.
But in between there, so at the launch, did you get to witness us lay down for 22 minutes?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Was that uncomfortable? I mean,
it wasn't crazy comfortable laying on a step, but
On the concrete.
Yeah.
on concrete is what I asked people. Some people sat up, whatever.
Yeah.
But that symbolizes homelessness, right? When you're hard down on your back and you don't have a place to go to. The symbolism is everywhere in this 50-mile march.
That's
everywhere.
huge in this.
And it's you immerse yourself to say, how does a veteran feel, right? So you say, hey, I've never served. Okay, this is what it feels like to be a homeless veteran for 22 minutes. But the 22 minutes also symbolizes the lives that are taken, every day, and that's just a marketing number. It's probably higher than that.
Yeah.
But I don't want people to join this march because it's cool. I want them to go and experience 90. I tell people, you'll find 90% of yourself. Have you ever heard me say that? You'll find 90% of yourself on this walk. It's like, I like yelling that. 50% is, hey, I go to work, I got a job, I pay my bills, I go to work, I got a job, I pay my bills. That's 50% of life, right? Some people are into self-development. Oh, I like to go to the gym. I like to work a little harder. 75% of life, they're improving themselves. Some people are always looking to improve. They get a coach and they're at 85%. 90% of your life is pushing yourself so hard to the limit that is almost unimaginable, which for some people, 50 miles is unimaginable, right? It's just for someone hard, something to do hard is get out of bed. For some people, it's 50 miles. Who in their mind? So the symbolism of the hardness or the toughness is, and you can read it on my back. They served for us, we march for them. Mm-hmm. That's our mantra, right? And now Bree Ann Schuler, our executive director, has told me this is a movement. So the physical march is one thing, right? That's raising money, that's walkers, that's all that stuff, that's to support people. By the way, don't just celebrate the walkers, celebrate operations, celebrate the foot care people, celebrate the doctors, the first aid, the people bringing granola bars, the people moving trucks and all that other stuff. Celebrate Leon Haith, who is our operations director, 34-year combat veteran. We are getting point-to-point zero accident, right? Like, it's phenomenal.
I can say, not to interrupt you, but just to give some perspective.
Yes.
Because I wasn't a walker, Morgan was. When we showed up at the Capitol, I was blown away by how, I don't even know what the word is, like how committed and focused the volunteers were on making sure everybody is doing exactly what they need to be doing. Everyone is getting exactly what they need to be getting. Everyone is getting in line. Everyone's where they need to be. It truly was, like you said, if I had to imagine, like a military mission, like these folks were just on it.
Yeah.
I kept saying it's like a well-oiled machine.
Thank you.
It just, seriously.
Thank you.
And this is, again, our first experience. I didn't see any flaws like that were like, whoa.
And what's
really?
crazy is you say that, but in our mind, there were 13 to 15 major mistakes that we missed out on.
Okay.
Sure.
Not that we're going to complain about that,
Yeah.
but let's
Yeah.
let's celebrate the 87 that went well, good.
Yeah.
But I love your perspective, because who's going to be hard on themselves?
Right.
The people
We
that
are.
know.
It should,
But
rightfully
yes.
so. Yeah. And you know, we talked about this earlier in the podcast, you know, the hard conversations and the,
Yes.
you know, talking to folks about what you need to talk to them about. I witnessed some of the folks who are volunteers or part of the organization or whatever walking around and talking to people and literally telling them, like, all right, I see what you're doing there, but I
Yeah.
need you to think about this.
Yes.
Is this right? Are you prepared? Do you think this is the best thing to do? Do you think this is the best thing to be wearing?
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing.
God, I love it.
Yeah.
It's ownership down to every level.
Right. Right.
I mean, you got to volunteer. We're talking about, like, this is not even what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They're a mom, or they're somewhere else, and then they show up for one day committed, all the trainings, and they pour their life into this, and they're touching people's feet. First of all, you got to be committed to touch
Dude.
people's
Yeah.
others' feet. Like, don't touch my feet.
That
Like,
ain't me.
Yeah, I know. Trust me.
He's not a foot
I
person.
swear to you, like my wife loves to grind her foot up against my leg, and we're sitting down, like, babe, just I'll hold your hand, just stop it.
Right,
But we're talking people's feet are bleeding, toenails are coming off, people are blistering, and people are just jumping right in there like it ain't no thing. That is seeing Jesus clean people's feet to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, whoa, like, you're talking servant. You're talking these people.
Yeah.
You don't even know who touched your feet at the end of the day. You're like, what was that volunteer's name? But now we all have name tags. So yes, it's a big deal. Where was I going with this, Ben?
Well, we were just going down the path of how all this comes together.
How
So
organized it was.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And
Yeah.
every
Thank you.
level, there's the buy-in that you're talking about, the commitment. to
Yeah,
it.
commitment versus interest. It's really interesting to do, but
So we were talking about the, you know, the
Process.
So the rest, you know, that you guys had, the 22 minutes,
yes.
and then kind of what happens from there.
Okay, so from there, we get up, we form up. You get into your platoons, right? We have platoon leaders. Like, these people have been trained 20 plus hours on top of everything else. A little bit of first aid. This year, we're going to really do CPR training, I hope, for people. Not that we need to, but it's just that level of
Yep.
commitment, right?
Yep.
Like, you have to know. So when your kids coach is coaching your kids, it's not just the hour you see them on the field. It's the 3 hours of preparation they did to
Sure.
get that game ready. These platoon leaders, for the 1 hour, they're probably spending 20 to 30 hours in the background, you know, just executing. Anyway, so we break into our platoons. Oh man, the movement, you should hear the radio chatter. You know, it's like, oh, it's so good. It's like, Noble 1, this is Noble 7. Go Noble 7. Yeah, Noble 7, start, move, clear, you're clear. I mean, all the commands that it takes just to get into the street safely, execute left lane, everyone flank left, and you feel it, right?
Well, and I heard it when you would, walk by.
Yes.
I was
Oh
in the
my
front,
gosh.
so I heard
You
a
could hear the
lot
chatter.
of the platoon. Yeah,
Yes, and
leaders.
it's so like military, and it's like, we are here for your safety first. Forget what you look like. We're here for your safety. We're walking at 2.8 miles per hour, a very comfortable pace. Like, I'm watching the clock, the platoon's watching the speedometer. We're executing, we're coordinating with, like, that's a lot just to launch. And then you get to your first stop. Our first stop was at Stonebrook. Oh my God, love that place, right? Love Steve and those guys. You stop. Could you imagine going like 8.9 miles? Your first one, you're all adrenaline's going.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I'm so happy we're here. Like, you could see everyone's in a good mood. There's a band there. Did you see the first stop?
I was not there.
Oh my God, first stop, there's a band there. People are getting ready. They're high-fiving and saying, what's up, Morgan? What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all high.
Yeah.
And then it starts, okay, we got to go now. All right, we get ready. As we leave Stonebrook, fireworks start going off. And some people have, some PTSD from
Sure.
that. People like,
Yeah.
I won't say it's as strong for me, but I just wasn't ready. So I was like, ooh, that jarred me. But man, the pride, the execution when you leave, the reformation, then now the night starts coming in. And it gets darker, and it punches you in the face. It's like, hey, you're supposed to be asleep right now.
Yeah.
And your body starts to, is that my left foot? and it's only 11 o'clock. It's like, is that my left foot? I think it is my left foot. Is that your left foot or mine? You know, and then you get to Baker's Candies. That was our next stop. And that's when the body's like, hey, I just need you to know this is for real now. Right.
Yeah.
And you're just happy to be there. It's a little cooler. Some people dropped out by then already, right?
They did.
And it's okay. There's no shame in dropping out. I never want to make that a thing. You dropped out, you tried. And you get to the next stop, which is, oh my God, it was
Which one? I get confused on all the stops.
Ashland. It was
yeah.
Camp Ashland.
That was good.
Camp Ashland was the hell. I mean, right around there, we lost a lot of people. Heat exhaustion, right? The lowest temperature it got was like 80.
But that's when I really started feeling it too. I kept thinking I was getting bit by bugs, and it wasn't. It was a heat rash that was developing when it was colder. It was the weirdest shit
You
ever.
said something to me about that because we were texting most of the time, and you were saying something about, oh, these bugs are getting to me, and I'm like, that can't be bugs.
Oh, man.
Like that doesn't.
There were no ticks or anything out
and then
that
I
day.
sat down and I was like, looked at my legs. I'm like, I got a rash all over my legs. Anybody have? I mean, I packed everything possible. I'm like, anybody have itchy cream?
Yes.
Nobody. I'm like,
Yes.
Can someone go ask the doctor? And they're like, he didn't have it either. I'm like, God, how
Oh
did
my
we
gosh.
forget?
I know.
Like hydrocortisone.
I know.
Like-
It was crazy. And did you see Dr. Jamie's legs?
Yes.
They look like gremlins. So you know when the gremlins, you feed them after midnight, they start boiling.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Her legs. And she's got like muscle lifter legs, right? Like she's truly like a beast, right?
Yeah.
I saw her legs. I was like, oh my God, are you okay? She goes, shut up. She goes, shut up. I'm okay. She didn't say hard shut up, but she's like, you know what? We're going to shut our mouth. We're going to do this. She's like, quit telling me. She goes, I know. What can we do about it? We
Yeah.
move forward. I was
Yeah.
like,
a lot of people had that
yes.
with like,
The blisters.
yeah.
It's like an equalizer. Like you wouldn't think about that as a walk,
Right.
but it's an equalizer,
Right.
Because like you said, I mean, you can take the fittest folks around,
Yes.
and you can take the folks who just are like just going about their day to day,
Yes.
and it's going to bring everybody to the same spot.
Yes, together, bro. This is not just a CrossFitter thing. This is not someone who's cross country. This is not every age, 75, 8 years old, like if you're committed, you're gonna make it. And that's what I love about this is you can. You want this, align your values with ours, right? Like truly believe in what we believe. Serving veterans. Do you believe that? Do you believe that there are veterans who want to take their life? Yes, I believe that. Do you believe veterans are homeless? Yes, I believe that. Do you believe that it is our obligation to serve them? Right? Yes, we believe. That's it.
Yep.
Okay. And then your level of commitment goes from there. You don't have to be a walker to be committed. You can be a foot care person. You can be a doctor. You can be a medic. You can be a driver. You can be a sign waver, right? I don't care. I mean, commitment in life is so lost on all of us because, we don't have time. Oh, it's so busy. Bro, you'll commit to what's important to you. You commit to stuff in your life that you don't even know
We
about.
talk about that so much.
Commit.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Commit. Show me your schedule. I'll show you your commitment. Show me your check. Show me where your money goes. That's where you're committed. Show me where your relationship is. I know where you're committed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, commitment is such a word that I've only really learned to craft in the past 7 years, right? 7, 8 years. I was always participating in stuff. I was always like, yeah, let me do that. Oh, I want to try. I'm only doing stuff that I'm committed to.
I love that difference between participation and commitment.
Yes. Yes.
Today, it's so easy to basically do anything you want to do without being committed to it.
Oh, God, tell me about it. We have access to
kinda geared that
everything.
way.
Isn't that called half-ass?
Well,
Yes,
but
call half-ass.
it's kind of geared that way too. You talk about being part of a tribe. So now I feel like I got to be part of a tribe. I need to give you some time. I need to check it out.
Yeah.
And then it's all geared for you to get that little 15 minutes of
Right.
participation.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what, I'm guilty of that more than anyone.
Oh, we all are.
You
Me
know,
too.
That's why I do a million things, and I have a lot of fun doing them, and I'm pretty terrible at pretty much all of them.
No.
Andy, I notice you like not be the center, or or
Pretty
maybe
easy for me.
right, or not degrade yourself, but you like to put yourself back or set yourself back. Like, I just noticed that about you. I think it's a great quality, but I'm telling you that your language becomes who you are, right?
Right.
And I can just tell from your energy, even your nervous energy, you've got a lot to offer. I used to be like you. I used to not that.
Well, that's kind of what it is.
It's comfortable,
and it's a real easy way to get a laugh too.
Yeah, 100%. I get the dopamine hit, and by the way, I'm doing comedy on the 27th.
Oh, yes, comedy too.
Did you not know
I did
that?
not know
It's
that.
at Nebraska Brewing Company. It's for
Stop.
veterans. The 27th.
Oh, I did know that.
You did know that.
Yeah,
okay,
that was
good.
on the
good.
thread. Okay.
So, but I was addicted to the laugh too. And that's why I do it. Thank you for saying that, because I do that too. Like, oh, I'm so dumb. People are like, Jay, you are dumb. Like, it feels good. But just know that I know you, Andy. I know all what this takes. Like, I'm no dummy. You know what I mean? So I see you, brother. I see you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Andy, we love you.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that comes from some sports broadcasting.
Yes.
Because I played collegiate sports, but at a very low level. And that's just the way it is. That's not me being self-deprecating.
Intramural football.
You're right. They wouldn't let me on the intramural team. But so I can relate to what I'm seeing on the field, break it down, and then I can always end with but that kid's doing a lot better than me. And that's what people want to hear, and that's what I feel my job is to put the high schoolers on a pedestal.
Yeah, put them first.
I always try to put myself in. If I was the grandparents that live in Columbus and they couldn't make it, to Omaha to watch the game, but you don't want to make them feel good. You want to talk highly of these kids. And if that's putting me down at my expense, like hell yeah, I'll land on the sword for this one.
Yeah,
that kid's a hell of a lot better than me, and usually it's pretty easy because that kid is a lot better than me.
Well,
so it all comes full circle.
You won't run out of friends doing that for sure, man. So good for you, brother.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
What? So you were talking about the walk itself, the march itself, and the stops. What's the last stop like? So we personally, we as supporters, we're at Nebraska Brewing.
Yes.
We show up there 2 hours before you guys show up, if not more.
Right.
We're hanging out.
It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot outside, but it's air conditioned in the brewery.
True.
There's cold beer on tap.
Yes, there is.
There's food trucks out there, nice little steak sandwiches, all the things. We're living our life, having a good time. It's all good and easy. And I'm literally thinking about, because you guys had stopped at the last stop for
Cabela's.
Yeah, for a little bit of time, get your stuff together. You had at that point another 3 or 4 miles to go, I think.
Yes. 3.7.
It felt like 8.
Yes.
Wow. Just saying.
So that's what I want to know, because I'm thinking about, like, what are they thinking right now? Like, they know the end is in sight. You can almost see it over the hill.
Yeah. I want. Can you give yours and then I'll give mine?
I will.
So we leave Cabela's. Remember when I said we have less than 10 whatever I said percent. I said, do you have this in you? And everyone was like, yes. We have it in us. All right, we formed up. What happened then?
I think in my head, I cling to like the 3 miles. I don't know if I heard.
Could have been. 3
I don't
miles,
know
whatever,
what it was, but
three something.
Yeah.
When I say it felt like 8, I felt like this. They did not tell us right.
Right.
Like I was looking to blame somebody. I think I said it to the lady next to me. I was like, I think they fucked this up. Like I think this is 6 miles. They lied. Yes. They basically lied to us, and that was a cruel joke.
To get you through it.
To get us through it.
I was kind of mad at that point. I was kind of pissed. I was like, I'm going to GPS this one day. I'm going to go to Cabela's and I'm going to drive to Nebraska.
I swear to you, I'll ride shotgun with you because it is. You'll be like, damn.
Anyways, that's where my mind was. But I was also very focused on, I knew my kids were tracking me on 360.
Yes.
And, just like thinking about coming up that hill and just in the excitement of it. But I think in the moment I was so annoyed that we weren't there quicker. I wanted to go faster.
Did you notice I slowed us down?
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. So to line everyone up to make sure we all finish. So my rendition, right?
Yeah.
Making sure everyone gets out safe. Make sure we're all good. Okay, here we are. There's a hill that Paul Cavulat calls. This is the
Hell Hill?
It's called Hell Hill to be polite, but it's the mother effing hill. Okay. And Paul wants to put that on there. So it is probably a 4% start, and then it goes to 5, and then it tops out to probably a 2% grade. Okay, we're talking grade.
And let me put, this is that last little hill going up to the brewery.
Yes, right there.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
right there, just the 108th Street, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, it doesn't look so bad.
Right.
But you're looking at it, and that's the only thing standing. But you can't see the crowd. You can't see the brewery. You can't see anything. So here's what I think. All right, we're going to get up this. I got to slow us down just a bit to keep everyone together. The insecurity starts setting in. Like, okay, man, it's hot outside. This is what my brain was thinking. Oh, it's hot. It's okay. This is how my actual voice sounds when I'm talking to myself in a bad way. It's okay. It's 103 degrees. The wet bulb temperature is probably 109. It feels like 112 with the breeze. Like I'm playing on. It's okay. There's elderly people that don't want to be out here. We're going to probably miss some of the parents. It's probably going to be 200 people, right? That's what I was setting myself up for because I've been there before. I've been let down just by things, right? And I'm like, okay, but God, if it's more than 200 people, the glory, let the glory, even if it's 200, let the glory be yours, right? I promise you. I was like, okay. Then you get up there and you see people starting to run down towards you, right? Like
there's a few people that
like, damn, like you ran all the way down here from all the way up there. Kids and adults, like they want to get the first dibs, right? There's always that one guy with the camera, like, hey, I saw you guys first, and they want to high five everybody. I'm like, stay in formation, everybody. Then you start cresting the hill. Then you see both sides. You're like, holy smoke, that's a lot of color because you see, because in the distance it's all gray asphalt or buildings, and you start seeing people in their clothes and people with signs, and then people start waving the flag, and you see your friends and you can't even yell anymore because your voice is just shot, so you're just pointing at people and you're giving, I mean, I gave the thumbs up so much I got cramps on my thumb, right? Like truly. And I'm watching these people, I'm like, why are you all here? You know, like,
Yeah.
what did we deserve to? And you can feel the pain, you can feel their pain, and they can feel our pain, and they feel the patriotism, and they feel the pride for their children, for their neighbor. And for 1 minute, nothing matters except one foot in front of the other. And we get, you know, to helping people who are struggling. And that one guy who was struggling, we're carrying him on our shoulders, and we're like, we're going to finish. I'm yelling, you're going to finish. And I'm just in the moment, and I don't care about politics. I don't care about anything, right? That the temperature goes away, and you're just with yourself for a couple seconds, like, God bless, this is crazy. And then you look, and then my point is, I always I'll lead us in, and then they'll flank and they'll turn, and I will step back because I want to make sure everybody gets in. Yes, I want to make sure, like, get in. I've been there. I know what it feels like to go in first. Go have your moment.
Gosh, so that coming in was so amazing. You described it so well. And then I really did feel like at the end, wow, there's a lot of people here. Why are they actually cheering me on? Yeah. Like I kind of felt like a guilty.
Yes.
Like I just walked.
Right.
But I still have a hard time being like, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I want to downplay it or what, but there were thousands of people, and you just thought wanted 200.
200.
I mean,
that's all I wanted.
I'm a bad estimator.
They said 2,000 plus is what they said.
It was like I was just crocodile tears. Just I couldn't even cry, like ugly cry. Just like
Cry even.
Then I saw my people.
Oh, my legs.
My jaws were clenched, and the tears are just going down. Like, you know, when your tears are rolling, you don't even have to exert your face.
Yes.
That's how I cried
Yes.
when I was just like, shh. And you're at the end, and oh hey, and oh my gosh, hey, my son, you know, took his life, and oh hey, I just want to, you know, I was walking for some people, and then this oh my God, I'm going to get her name wrong. Mandy, she says, hey, turn around. And I turned around, and she goes, yep, you did what you said you were going to do. She took her brother's picture, and she's like, thank you. You know, I mean, I walked for him. And when you tell somebody, I'm going to walk for your son or your brother, or I'm going to, you better do it, right? Like, don't flash that. Don't flex that. And don't be trying to carry 87 people on your back because it's meaningless, right? Carry because you believe and you share their pain and you've learned something about them. But man, it's so powerful because you don't even know whose life you're touching. And then all the text after, right? You're in our GroupMe app, right? And everyone's like, oh my God, this and that. And the euphoria is going. It's still going, right? In some pockets of the world, but I can't describe that to you, Ben. Like, it's not like the end of a race or anything like that. It's not like, it's the pain that you feel because you know we're all pain. And, you know, my sister surprised me from California. I'm like, get out of here, man. What are you doing? And then I fell out. So I was on adrenaline, and then I made an announcement. Thank you, everybody, for being here, right? I was like, oh, my God. Then my wife was like, you need to get over here right now. She pulled me by the collar. I'm like, okay. I got into the air-conditioned space. I didn't know how bad I was until I went into the air-conditioned space and nearly collapsed. So hot, into the cold. You're like, oh, my gosh, I can feel it. I felt my body shutting down. I ran to the warehouse. I sat down in a chair, and I collapsed over. And the ambulance came for me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and my body temperature got up apparently to 100, 304 degrees, whatever. Wow. But I lived to tell a cool story, so it's all good.
There you go.
But yeah, they put me in the meat locker or the freezer there, whatever you want to call it. But
it holds beer.
Yes, so that's the 50-mile march in a lengthy way, but that's just the physical part of that.
Right.
The community of hope is the other. It's this 3 to 10 acres, 22 tiny homes, a community center. So
this is the end goal.
Yes.
I wouldn't say end goal.
It is the end goal. Yes,
this is
how we solve
towards.
it. Yes, sir. Yeah. Like every nonprofit should work to solve a problem and hopefully work themselves out a problem. I hope that happens, right? So we want a community home, right? So here's a plot of land. Here's your community center, and here's all the little tiny homes. We'll build this first. Counseling, doctors, dentists, whatever, right? Support services. Because right now, when I was an able-bodied veteran, I'd 1-800, whatever. Oh, are you? Okay, you'll have to go make an appointment at our Leavenworth location for on 42nd Street on the 3rd of February. I'm like, that's 6 months away, bro. I get it, and I'm not blaming them. They are overstaffed. There's a lot of us. We're going to stand in the gap to say, Ben, don't stop pressing 1. Stop pressing 2. Matter of fact, your buddy Andy's going to drag you down here. You know what I mean? And we're going to get you into, we're going to triage you. What level are you? Are you addiction? Are you homeless? What are you? Oh, you just need counseling. You're married. Everything's fine. Good. We'll give you counseling, whatever, immediately. But if you need transitional housing like I did, so the government's going to give me a benefit because I'm homeless or whatever, because I'm a veteran. It's called HUD-VASH. They're going to use that to fuel that tiny home. They're going to earn their way. You ain't sleeping past 7 o'clock, bro. You're getting up. If you're not working yet, you're moving veterans in and out of housing, right? With moving veterans forward. You're volunteering to clean up. Like you're saying, Jay, that's cruel, man. No, that's purpose. Because guess what, man? I had to freaking walk my buddy's dog, clean his car, and do all. Right. I'll be happy to do that. And then, oh, wait a minute, Werner Enterprises is going to train us to go from $30,000 to $90,000 a year as a truck driver. I don't know if it's 90, but I'm just, whatever it may be. Wait a minute. You mean I can go to the labor unions with workforce development and earn a labor union job who's 400 jobs short a week? Yeah. Wait a minute. How about Jay? He doesn't talk to anybody much. He's not really good with people. He's great at customer service on the phone, though. All right, Cox Communication. All right, site whoever. We're going to not just put Andy in a box and say, Andy, good luck. Man. We're going to job train you and transform your life. So 18 months later, you're not a tax problem anymore. You're now having to pay a lot of taxes because of the money you make. That's what I'm talking about, right?
I love this.
This is manifestation, bro.
I love this, and and I don't want to put any negative juju out there.
No.
I'll reinforce it a little bit. I just read this little article where a tech bro, we'll just call it a tech bro, wanted to make a difference in Denver. And so he did this case study he thought he was going to prove a point.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what you're talking about, helping people and just throwing money at it. So I forget if it was 100 or 200 homeless people. He gave this 100, $6,000 a month, this numbered like $2,000 a month, and then he had the control where he only gave him $50 a month to do the usual thing.
Yeah.
And the percentage of homeless people that actually come out and be not homeless in, I think it was like a half a year. It might have been only 3 months. You know, the numbers bared out basically the same. It went from like 48% to 42% to somewhere in the middle there. But regardless if it was $6,000 a month or $2,000 or basically nothing, it's on you.
Yes.
You know, so what you're talking about, your buddy who said, listen to me, you're gonna live on the couch, but it's not gonna be for free. You're gonna have to do this, this, and this.
Yes.
The accountability has to be there.
Yes.
And they have to want to do it.
Yes.
You have to help yourself.
100%.
And if you have that just being in that community with other people that want to help themselves, they're going to feed off of that.
It's going to vibe so good.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I love it all. I do.
And why the tiny home and not an apartment complex is because when you open that door, I want the sun or the wind to hit your face, not a hallway. I don't want you to come into some hallway, some hotel feel where there's 6 other drug users down the hallway, right? I want to open the door and I want weather to hit you in your face and you say, hey, I woke up today. And then I want you to know, like, you're going to be put to work today. You're going to be in our community. So here's what's cool. Our community center will case manage maybe 200 average a year. We'll house 22 in an 18-month transitional period. But the people who are transformed, so we have a saying, transformed lives transform lives. So those who are transformed will transform. Yes, just like the Boys Town concept. Like I picture Victor Guillermo, right? Just like, hey man, I was a vet there and blah blah blah, and now I opened my own T-shirt company and I'm killing it, right? Like here's a check for $15,000 because I want to put this guy in whatever. Like it's the visualization. I'm pulling you in. Like I see this stuff, man. I see myself at 81 years old or 82 years old, and my son who's probably 60 then. I'm like, son, you're part of this. See our name right there. See that brick right there. See the Miralles brick. I remember putting that down in 2023. 2024, and it's because you, me, mom, and all, we created this brick, and it's just so cool, and it's a compound not to be covered. It's a compound to be shared with the world. It's inspection ready all the time. It's clean. It's like we're giving tours to people. We have the history of some of our military. We have our wall of honor. We have our corporate sponsors. We have the community center. Like we're all eating food here. We have food trucks in the parking lot. Like we have people learning music lessons from Guitars for Vets. We have people graduating after 18 months. Hey, you're moving into a house or you're moving to an apartment. Boom. All your furniture that was in your little tiny home is now yours. You earned it. Like, and the people who are reunited because they can't have a place to be with their families are going to be right here because it's going to be a controlled environment and you're going to get to meet your daughter. And I'm telling you, I can go on and on.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the dream.
Sounds like you think being part of a community, having a family, it's like important.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
It's everything. It's dignity, though.
Totally.
So we have places now where veterans go, and I'm not any one company or any one thing, but you have landlords out there who have lower level duplexes, and they're like, yeah, I'll take the $1,100 from the government. And then Reggie has a problem. Reggie's like, hey, I just want to let you know about the running water. Oh, I'm not the landlord. I'm just a management company. You'll have to file a claim for, and it never gets done. And Reggie's like, you know what? I'm lucky to have this roof here. Who cares if there's mold in my wall? But what's Reggie doing to get to the next step? Reggie's not doing it. He's smoking 11 cigarettes an hour, and he's just lost, and he tries to do good. And then when someone says, well, what's your address? Well, I don't have a ride. And why don't you have a ride? Well, I don't have money. Well, why don't you have money? Because I'm on government assistance. And it's just a perpetual. What if we can hand him up and say, Reggie, we'll pick you up. We'll job train you. Reggie, you drove a truck for the military, right? Sure did. Man, let's put you in Werner's program. Reggie, why don't you find a teammate, Adam? You and Adam can go drive a truck and make $120,000 as team drivers. See the world.
And it's holding people accountable.
Yes, 100%. People hate that.
Yeah, like you talked about that scenario with Reggie in something he's just renting somewhere and getting government assistance. He's not being held accountable to anything.
Cheese. It's free cheese, and there's government involvement.
Yeah. And I feel like that's been the theme in this conversation this whole time is we've mentioned it a couple of times, is that tough love.
Yes.
So it's what you experienced when you were younger.
Yeah.
That tough love. It's what the walkers experience, the marchers experience in this event. Mm-hmm. That tough love. Like,
yes.
Hey, you're even to be a part of it.
Yeah.
You're either here to do it or you're not.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Do or don't.
Right.
Do or don't. If Morgan would have been falling behind, like if she would have been at the end, I'm not going to be like, Morgan, you can make this. Listen, it's in your heart. I'd have been like, Morgan, you're not going to tell Ben you didn't finish, are you?
Right.
You're not going to sit here and cry and you get to go home after this.
And I actually witnessed that. There was a gentleman, I don't know who it was, and one of the platoon leaders, one of the guys kept falling back, and the platoon leader was like, go.
Yes.
You need to walk.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
You're holding us up.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Like, I was like, damn, okay, let's go. But there was no...
It's kind of scary.
Full Metal Jacket. We're going to help this guy get
We're
motivated.
all in a world
but
of
it wasn't.
suck.
But it wasn't scary. And then it was kind of like, all right, you got this. Then encouragement. But bro, come on.
Yeah.
I already told you.
Yeah.
This happened 3 hours ago.
Yes.
Now you're back here again. Like
Yes.
it happened a couple times. And it's like, oh my gosh.
There's no shame
Yeah.
in tapping out. There's only shame in wanting to hold others back.
Agree.
And so again, community of hope, right? Just this whole, it's a shame to hold any of these people back. In formation, it's a shame to hold them back. It's a shame to not be prepared here. It's a shame not to prepare yourself for the march. Mm-hmm. That's the shame.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, you got people that didn't even train, and they didn't train, and they just put it out there for self-loathing vibes, right? But there's some people who didn't train and made it. Good for them, But I want people to know that prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a responsibility. I mean, Morgan, you went through it. There was plenty of days where you were like, man, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything, whatever. But I got to go walk 8 miles. I have to get this in.
Yeah.
I mean, in your mind, how many miles do you think how many times did you train? How many? 50, 60?
Oh, gosh. For a very,
minimum.
lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. Think about that,
a lot.
right?
I was very well prepared. So that's what, in the feedback, it was it was interesting to me that some people did decide to do it that didn't train. I felt like that was not okay.
It wasn't, and we're learning.
But how do you tell people you can't be a part of this, but because you didn't train? Like, how do you know?
Right,
but you're just praying, I would think, and hope that people actually are that dedicated, because I was
hopefully folks
super dedicated
who are thinking about it will listen to something like this and get a real glimpse of what's going on.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, from our standpoint, and Morgan, obviously, she likes to do a lot of physical things. She's in good shape, that kind of stuff.
Great shape.
So she's preparing and doing all these kinds of things, and we're talking about it, and honestly, we're like, I don't think this is going to be that tough. Like, you got 50 miles, you're going to have multiple stops. Like, you got this, no big deal, know?
Yes.
But then afterwards, the story was a little different.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
How was your recovery?
My recovery was fine.
Did I get to? I don't know if I read it or not yet.
That's all right. You'll just have to read my post. But it was just on my Facebook. But honestly, it was. I really didn't think I would need all the stops, and I think I told a few people I don't need that many stops. I do think I could have eliminated maybe one. That one at the. I don't know. Up one.
You've done rim to rim.
One.
I mean, you did the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
But I just felt like, I don't know. I was afraid I was going to get cramped and all this stuff. But afterwards, I honestly wasn't that sore the next day. It was just that heat rash I had. It took a while to go away.
And you were like, when you came through the finish, I mean, you were swollen.
Yeah.
Your legs and your ankles were and everything were swollen up. Mm-hmm. Your feet were sore.
How were your fingers?
They were pretty swollen.
Yeah.
I mean, I wore my rubber ring. Otherwise, this sucker wouldn't have come off.
Wow. Yeah. But it was just interesting for me because, like I said beforehand, we're like, you do this. You're doing this all the time. You got this walk. It's no big deal. And then afterwards, as we got talking about it, she was like, I mean, if I hadn't done all the things I had done, I probably wouldn't have made it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's because I've never done anything to your physical level. Rim to rim is a goal of mine, but I'm interested in your psychological gain. Mm-hmm. What was your psychological gain, or what did you connect with people you've never connected with before?
Yeah, I did talk to a few people that I hadn't talked to before. My walking buddy was John.
Oh, John Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
he's okay and everything.
Oh,
now.
yes.
Yeah,
I saw him afterwards, which
good,
was great.
good.
But yeah, I feel like, having conversations with people, and you had said that when we first walked that first 9 miles. I remember texting Ben and being like, everyone's pretty chatty. I know that's going to change.
Right, yeah.
Because we're all like, woo.
Yes, like, this is so cool.
But I think I've said this before, that's kind of what hit me hard was when John was starting to fade, and he just really thought his pack was too heavy. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'm going to dump water out. And I'm like, no, you're not. So give me your pack.
You were right with him in Ashland.
Yeah. So we walked basically the whole way, up until then. He met halfway, and I was like, I don't think you're feeling good. And anyways, that was a mental blow to me, just because he was my consistent partner we didn't always say a lot, but he was there. I'd be like, hey, how you feeling? He'd be like, hey, what, and he's my dad's age. So it was just kind of comforting. I don't know. I felt like, and then when he just had to get in the ambulance, that freaked me out. And plus it was like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm texting him. I'm like, this sucks. I feel like I want to quit. Obviously I'm not going to, but just, that mentalness, but I just kept going back to, I can do hard things. This is not that hard compared to what other people have done for me and my freedom.
That's perspective.
Period.
Right.
I just kept saying that this is not that hard, Morgan.
Right.
This is not that hard.
Right.
Go.
Yeah, you have to, because the narrative in your mind is you have to decide that this is already done. Remember, less than 250 people have taken this task on in the state of Nebraska to walk a consistent 50 miles in a 22-hour period.
Oh, really?
This is not common.
Yeah.
This is uncommon, right?
True.
I mean,
I've never heard that.
Yeah. If you really think about it, who subjects themselves to the,
I think that was his point when I signed up. Now he's like, are you crazy?
Why?
Why would you do this again? But obviously he knew why.
I would have never met you guys. I would have never met you guys had it not been for the 50. You know what I mean? I mean, this thing has drawn so many good people into my life from a attraction standpoint. Yeah, I already know you guys are patriots. I already know that you guys love our country. I know you're hardworking. That's just said. No one ever where'd you come from? This attracts and vets people at the same time. It's like they get close to the fire and they're like, oh, did you say 22 hours? Oh, I'm good.
Right.
Or did you say, but I want to volunteer and I only want to volunteer for 2 hours. We don't have that assignment here. Oh, okay, I can't do it. It's cool. It's okay. Tell me now you can't do it. But if you're gonna ride or die with us, ride or die with us. You know what I mean?
I love that visual or that perspective of you've got that fire and you're bringing them in closer and closer to the fire as the time comes, and you're gonna have those people that are like, fuck, it's getting hot, man.
Yes. Oh my gosh. When you hold your feet to the fire, can you really stand the heat?
Yeah.
I mean, some people are like, I'm this. Oh my God, I can't do this. All right, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But the people who seek the glory are usually misaligned. I don't know what it is, right? Some guys are like, I'm like an IFBO pre-pro, right? I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Right.
Cool. Or I trekked the Baton Death March 77 times. I'm like, cool, bro. It's the people who come with something to prove that I get weary or my alert goes up, right? It's not attractive to say, wow, I can do that. I mean, that guy Ryan, tip of the spear, Hendrickson, come on, man. That guy was blown off leg.
I know.
Come on, bro. Why can't you finish this? It gives me so much perspective in when I'm doing the next goal in my life or the next thing. And I'm like, I don't really need to, but I can, and I'm obligated to, because if I tell the soldiers, ghosts, I'm going to make the best life out of myself, I promise you, am I really doing that? So, sorry.
What you had mentioned the community and everything that you guys are working towards.
Yes. What's
the outlook on that? What's the progression looking like?
So timeline acquisition of land is first quarter. So we're actively looking now. We're looking. We've had a couple parcels come up. The development, we got to project development costs, things of that nature. Are our permits right? Is the land right for use? Are we aligned with the mayor, whoever city it's in? There's so much to that where I said, guys, let's just buy the land and make the mistake, because if we buy the land and it's the wrong land, guess what? You can sell it for more.
For sure, yeah.
But we just need to buy the land. So we are in land mode. We are like spewing out at all channels. We're ready to buy. We're ready to buy. People have given us parcels to look at. And like I said, Farmer Bill, he's just going to be like, hey, Jay, I don't know if you know this, but my son served in the military and I did a little stint too. We'd like to retire from farming and we'd like you to buy this land and we'd like to gift it to you. I can feel that happening, right? I can feel that, and I'll be like, Mr. Farmer, like, I don't want you to give away a discount. I want to pay you what it's worth, and in your honor, I want to put this in the placard, and this will always be remembered as your land. Like, I see it.
Do you guys have an exclusive area that you want to stick to, or is it kind of
Sarpy County corridor?
Okay,
along 370, as south as Louisville or Springfield.
Okay.
Maybe even Plattsmouth if it's right. Like, because there's some of these nice roads that lead on 73, 75. I'm like, right there. It's going to show itself, and I don't know where it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Just, man, we just need 10 acres.
That's what I was going to ask next, how much you're looking for.
10 is max, 3 is minimum.
Okay.
We can make the dream happen on 3. But 10 is future expansion.
Yeah.
Dog training programs, so service dogs, and who knows, maybe just apartment complex for level 2. Like, I don't want this to be something. I've thought this through, and the world needs this most because let me ask you this. If you have a friend right now, forget the 50-mile march. Mm-hmm. If you have a friend right now who says, hey, Jesse's thinking of taking his life, he told me, who would you call? If it weren't for the 50-mile march, where would you call? And this is not a test for you, Ben.
Man, I would just, if I felt like I needed to call somebody, I would think about the commercials I've heard. It's whatever the 11. I'd have to look it up.
Or 988 or the 211,
right? Exactly.
Right?
Yep. That's
How
what I
would you
think
like
of.
to say there's Operation whatever, Home Base, I'm just making this up, or the
Yeah.
Community of Hope in Sarpy County. Drop them off, roll them out of the car, and let us take over, right? Like, that's where it starts.
Yeah.
So we have a Veterans Alliance with 50 community partners that are nonprofits that are veteran focused, right? We're talking little bits of Habitat for Humanity, some food pantries, they're all at Ease USA. They're all serving veterans. We're all serving veterans. How do we do it, though, in a way that doesn't overlap? Like, you didn't say any of those names just now,
right, yep.
But they all do the same thing.
Yeah.
We need a beacon. We need that epicenter to start from, to say, bring us your tired, bring us your weary. Put them right here. We got it from here. Triage, step 1, step 2, step 3, or a simple number to call. And that your Uncle Bill or whoever is going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
As of today, it's like, call 211. Good afternoon. May I have your name, please? Like, and then to have an appointment 3 months later.
Yeah,
we
that's
need it
not
today.
acceptable.
Yeah. We need it today. So Lindsay, the practitioner, is waiting for us to give counseling. So
Yeah.
I can run some tape on some podcast, y'all. So.
I guarantee it. This is going to be a 2-parter, I think.
Okay.
We did talk about that earlier.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is like I just feel so good sitting here talking to you. Like, you are just so warm and such
Thank you.
Well, and you did it. You did it, Morgan.
Well,
you really did.
We did it.
There's a connection that you and I will have that is unspoken for, that we've been through the same passage of something hard and something that we can describe, something that if I ever ran into you in a Hy-Vee, I would go out of my way to say hello, because we have that connection, right? And that's what I hope for people, is that they have connections. And some people are did you know Gina Rue is getting married? Do you know Gina Rue by chance? Okay, so Gina Rue is, she was last year, she participated last year, she was going to do this year, but she went through a really bad divorce a couple years back, maybe a few years back, and it just devastated her. And this is full on social media. She met, oh my gosh, Megan, who owns a roofing company. Oh my God, I'll remember. Anyhow, Anchor Roofing Company, thank you. And they got to be besties. She introduced her to her, I think, cousin or one of their relatives, and they started dating last year, and now they're engaged. Like, come on, y'all.
Yeah.
It's the best story ever. when people start showing up at other people's funerals, did you see Adam Cassidy's brother is going through, his brother-in-law is going through that, so he's been very boisterous. He had a transplant. Like, this is the community of hope. This is people pulling together. It's like, hey, you don't need to ask. We're going to be there for you. And that's the other thing, and I want to talk about help. When you say I'm going to help somebody, you know, there's a funeral, and then, hey, I'm going to bring them pie, but I don't know if they've eaten or not yet. Bring the pie. They've got a refrigerator. They got a freezer. Oh, what can I do to help you? Stop asking
Just
people.
Yeah.
Mow their lawn. You know that it's going to help them. Freaking sweep their driveway. I'm going to pick up your kids. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Long story short is stop using the word help and serve people. That's another thing is the word help is so cheap.
I agree, man.
Do
it's
it.
And that gives me a little bit of perspective on this whole thing that I wasn't thinking about in the beginning. We hear the 50-mile march. You can go online. You can read about what the organization is wanting to do. You know, this community that's being built, you know, furthering veterans, helping homelessness, you know, helping folks who are on the brink of suicide, wherever the case may be. You hear about all these kinds of things. But what you don't realize until you hear these kinds of conversations is this community that's being built and all the things that happen within that community.
Yes.
That's huge.
It's already happening.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's a movement now, is what Bree said.
Yes.
And I credit her. This is a movement. You are part of the movement. It's not a march. That's just one of the things that
She
we
did
do.
say that.
Right.
It is a movement. And God, I love that so much because if I want to be part of something, it's our tribe, right? It's our 50-mile tribe. And I say this, a tribe. It's so raw, and it's people will help you. If you said, hey, I got a down tree here in Plattsmouth, it's going to take 4 people 4 hours, you'd have volunteers right away.
Absolutely.
And the good news is we don't cry for help, right? Just to help. But when our community needs something, people show up. People show up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys all share in a certain humility that boils it down to what we're talking about earlier, the connectivity, how we all have so much in common if we just put the gloves down or have the courage to have the conversation. Kennard, Nebraska is the same as San Francisco, California.
Yes.
It's the same people.
Yes.
You know, and this is what this march has given you and everybody else that's been a part of it. It's that community. It's that family I talked about. And the pain that goes through it. And you talked about it in monetary, you know, if people don't pay for something, then they don't
pay attention.
Right. They think it's cheap. They think it's free.
Yeah.
That last hill, that MFR hill.
Yes.
That's like that little cherry on the top. It puts you through that just a little bit more at the end there.
It does.
And then the reward's even that much better, that much sweeter. Yes.
Yes.
It's like there's just so many parallels with this where here's the physical side, here's the emotional side. It all comes together and it fits so well. And that's why I believe you, and I believe your manifestation. You guys are going to get 10 acres or more. And what my hope is that these things, compounds, you keep calling them a compound. It's kind of raw.
Yes.
I want them like in every major metropolitan area across the nation. Why not?
That's the manifestation.
It should be.
Let's get it right here first.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we've talked to some people who are like, we're ready for you. And I think I want to break it down to one thing, and I'm sure we'll exit here. But if you look at the people say, what's the big deal here, Jay? Like Ryan Hendrickson didn't make himself like a big deal, right? The guy tip of the spear. There's other people in there who are captains and colonels, and they're all retired, and none of them, they're common folk.
That's right, man.
Hey,
that's it.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't mean to tie that in.
I didn't even know who that was. Like,
yeah, we're common folk. Like we all have something in common. Like we're real, we're raw. You know, some of us are on the spectrum of a little flash. Some of us are on the spectrum of I'll wear the same jeans for 7 days. Like, but we have a lot in common. We are commoners. We are workers. We all can't stroke a check for $10, $15, $20,000. But when I talk to give organizations like nonprofits, there's 3 things you can give: time, talent, and treasure. Sometimes I'd rather have your time.
Yeah.
I'd rather have your time and your talent. Treasure, we'll get that. We'll get that. But when people say, you know, Jay, will you come speak to our group? I don't know if we're going to have a big donation. If I get hold of one person named Oscar and I save his life, worth it.
Totally.
Worth it. So this mission just pours over into my life. It pours into everything that I do, right? It pours into real estate, into insurance, into being a dad, being a husband, being a neighbor. I mean, this is who I am. I can't get away from it, nor do I want to get away from
yeah,
it.
Right? Nor should you.
Yeah.
No.
I love it, man. I love that side of the common folk too, because that's what we're doing. That's what we're here, and that's
right.
that's why Morgan was involved in this event.
Yes.
That's why we have you here.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Appreciate that.
Where's the best place for folks to find more info about the 50 Mile March?
So Facebook is our largest presence. It's a 50 mile march on Facebook. It's also on 50milemarch.org. So that's 50milemarch.org. But if you Google 50 Mile March anywhere, it pretty much brings up our organization. There are many other organizations that have, either 50 miles for the month, 50 miles for the, and that's great. Like, I never want to compete. I want to collaborate, right? And, Jay, did you see that one group has a 50 mile? Good for them. Good for them, and I don't know. It's just reach out to me, Jay Miralles. I'm a real person, and if you ask me, do I talk about this at 11:30 at night with some stranger? I absolutely will. But yeah.
On the website, you can apply to be a sponsor. You can apply to be a walker.
Yes.
But I'll tell you, if you're going to do either one, you better be serious about it.
Better be committed. That's right. Be committed. I don't care if it's $1 or 10 hours of your time. It's all worth something.
Yep.
It's all worth something. Yes. Commitment.
And we'll see you in October 6th.
Oh, yes. October 6th. Yes. That'll be so awesome.
Yeah. Got the tickets.
It'll be great. Sac Museum. That place just,
That place is
nice.
pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, just wait till you see remember you saw last year at Nebraska Brewing, and we love it. We just grew a little bit, and we just wanted to accommodate. Plus there's military tie. We always want to honor our relationship with Nebraska Brewing, though. That's my thing. So
they're
good people.
They are great people.
So to close this out, I want to share this a little bit. This is our nice little secret area here. You can see this cool flag.
Yeah.
And folks who are watching on YouTube can see this. So we pop this open. I'm guessing that everything we need's in here. I haven't looked at this lately.
No, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
it's right there.
Oh my gosh.
I brought it out.
So this is our little speakeasy.
Okay.
We like to have a drink with our guests. I'm not saying you have to have a drink. You can do water, but we're gonna toast together.
We will. Yes, I will do water, and I'll share that with you later.
These cups are made
normally
by,
we have to-go ones.
Yeah, these are made by a company up in O'Neill, Nebraska called Handlebend. They hand make all this copper stuff.
This is crazy.
This would be someone super cool to get involved in the 50 Mile March. They'd be down with it. We love these boys.
Yes.
We did a podcast with them not too long ago, but all handmade. Just salt of the earth kind of guys.
I know who this is, and they make the real cool
Mule
straws.
Mule mugs. Yep.
The meal mugs, because it's handle bent. I do remember seeing these guys.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Solid stuff. So good dudes. We like to take drinks out of these. Let's grab some of that Soldier Valley.
You guys take those.
Yes.
You're familiar with the Soldier Valley folks. We've had Rich Hagedorn on.
Yep.
We were out there meeting with him. Solid
Absolutely.
dude. I saw him at the 50 Mile March this year.
He was volunteering. He was the leader at the end of the. He was in charge of that entire area. Him and Jason Steiner.
He told the funniest, most honest South Dakota pheasant hunting story ever, and I'll forever love the guy.
We probably pissed some people off.
Oh,
yeah,
big time. So,
but that brings it all together. What we were talking about. I mean, we met Rich a long time ago. We met Kim. We continue to meet good folks. There's all these common ties.
Yes.
This conversation we're having today is just fun. So let's take a quick
appreciate you guys.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Sir.
Thanks for coming, buddy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
All right, there we go. So to close it out, Jay, I think it's important to say the son of immigrants here, our current environment, the things that you're doing, man, it's badass.
Thank you, man.
And it's something that I'm very, very proud to be a part of. The little bit that I'm a part of, I'm proud of Morgan for what she's involved in.
Yes.
I'm proud to have this platform that we can have a conversation with you and share this with everybody.
Man, I'm grateful.
Thank you for coming.
Bro, you have no idea. I just want my parents to hear just that part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Because that's what lights them up.
It should. They should be very proud.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Anything else?
We covered a lot.
We did, man. We did.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, Jay.
This was awesome.
Gosh, thank you guys so much.
All right, brother. We're going to close it out.
All right, peace.
Later.